Hi, this is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle, and today we're going to work on a Ambassadeur. It's the 5600 BCX. It's not one of my favorites, and this one came into the shop. It's got a sticking free spool release. It only partially resets. If you'll notice, as it clicks, you need to pull this up a little bit to get it to fully engage. We'll do that again just to show you. And that actually has to come up a little bit. So it's not fully releasing here, and we'll show you how to take care of that if that's the problem that your Ambassadeur has. I mentioned not one of my favorites. This one I think is made in China, not made in Sweden. It's a newer version of the thing, and it just doesn't seem as smooth. It just, when casting it, I kind of get a little bit more of a whine than I'm used to, and just not happy with it. But maybe your experiences are different with this one. But again, it's the 5600 BCX. We're going to start by taking off the handle, which had a nut cap assembly, and it also had a handle nut on top of the pinion, and then we have a little torsion spring that goes between the handle and the star drag. I'm going to take the star drag adjuster off while we're at it. And one of the things that we can talk about here is the sequence here. I have a rubber protective glove on. I'm using a parts tray to take all the pieces and parts that I have from the reel off. And I'm taking pictures along the way. And I take the pictures because, well, I'm going to share it on video, but on YouTube. But more importantly, if I get lost in thought, if I forget a way that this thing went, where a piece or a part went, or if I look in my parts tray at the end of the assembly and I have something laying there, the photo is a great reference point to go back and see where you removed it from and put it back where it belongs. So it's easy enough, for example, with this little tension clip to put it on the wrong side of the handle. It belongs between the star adjuster and the handle. It's not hard to put the star adjuster on the handle and then put this on. So that's a minor point, but along the way things like that do happen. And I find pictures, whether they're still photography, like you're taking it off of your phone or a digital camera or anything of the like, is pretty much the answer. Okay, so we took the 3 side plate screws out. Now we have 2 more screws here that are holding it on. I'm going to go ahead and pull those off. And those hold the springs that hold the free spool release assembly. So that's the problem we're trying to fix today. I'm not going to go rebuild this whole reel, but I will show you that if you are having that sticking, kind of involves the whole reel anyway. These are not very complicated reels. They've been lasting a long time. It's a fantastic design that stood the test of time. And I typically am fishing with a 5600C or a 6500C, and they've served me well for a long time. But this one I'm just not happy with. I will probably do what everybody else does and put it up on eBay and sell the darn thing and get rid of it. Just not happy. Alright, we're going to remove this case then. You pull up on that. Here's the assembly that's sticking. You can see that there's a lot of dried grease on it. So we're going to want to just clean this up. And for the most part, it's going to be just rebuilding the whole reel anyway, even though it's not the intention of this. So to start with, we're going to take the main gear assembly with the washers out. Simply pull up. And I'm going to remove these springs because these springs are going to shoot everywhere and anywhere. So get rid of them in a hurry. And then I'm going to take this bridge assembly off. Now this is what's sticking. So it's coming down. The main gear should fire this, but it's not firing it all the way back. You can see it happening right here. The main gear is going to click this lever, going to push it, and it's not going back. So first thing to do, it's generally just that there's a lot of clogged grease associated with that. So sometimes it's as easy as just grabbing some penetrating oil, flooding the piece, and just kind of working it back and forth. There you go. There you go. It's almost right there right now. sometimes. There you go, that time it is. So a lot of the times it's just that. It's just working that dried grease out of the channel. We're getting it to snap anyway. That time it didn't. There you go, now it is. And that probably will do better with the spring tension on here. Remember, I pulled those springs off, but if you have tension on here, yeah, oh yeah, right away. Right away. So that's, and believe it or not, that's about as simple a fix as it can go to. Just for fun, I'm going, because I have the reel open, I'm going to pull the yoke and the spool gear off. I'm just going to grab a cotton swab, because I do see the grease where it did accumulate. And we're just going to clean that up. That's it. Usually we got very lucky here. Sometimes what it is it's a broken piece. These are only plastic parts, and sometimes the plastic part will crack and it'll cause it to run askew. In this case we got lucky it didn't do that, but that doesn't mean it always does it. Pay attention when you take that spool gear off, how it came off. This is the side that goes to the spool. And then I'm just going to re-lube this then, put it back together again, give it some good oil, and we'll be on our way with this one. So, again, this is a personal reel. It wasn't belonging to a customer or anything. I had it out, and I got it used. I didn't buy it new. I guess I'm like every car mechanic or the like there. I rarely buy anything new. I wait for it to be proven or not proven, and I typically will go back and get them cheap when they break. So, all right, so we did that. I got a lot of this WD-40 around. It's or penetrating oil. It's not exactly WD-40. It's Ace Hardware's store brand, but that's good for doing what I just did there, degreasing. But I'd rather have a fishing reel oil on that, so I'm going to use Reel X here to oil this down good. I'm going to flood it. And now let's go put the rest of the reel back together again. So we took this off. This is your click mechanism that's firing the trigger here that I was manually operating. You're also going to notice that it's oblong. That oblong sits on the oblong of this. If you don't have that lined properly, it will not go all the way down. So just place all of that in there. You can turn it until you feel it come in. We're not in yet. Or we can do it this way. Let's pull all those drags out just to clean them up anyway. This is the drag this is the oblong that needs to sit on there. We're going to bring the main gear in. Then from the bottom up, I'm going to just check this. This has a little bit of dirt on it. That's probably what happened. I don't know if this reel went in the water or what may have happened there, but it's got a little dirt on it, and it's probably what got into the grease here to make that operate as poorly as it did. Okay, next up is the second washer here. Second one of the larger round ones. Then we go with the middle one, which has got the ears on it. Then we go with the top washer. And we go with the top washer's cap. All right, one more time. We're going to just throw this. And yeah, we're back to where we belong now. So, okay. So let's go ahead and put the springs back on. And we'll put the cap on. While I'm at it, there's a bearing here. We can go ahead, a spool adjuster and the anti-reverse bearing. We can go ahead and put the oil on that. I'm going to push the sleeve through. Go ahead and put that on the reel. Now we can go put the cover back on. So we essentially rebuilt this reel, even though the purpose of this reel's maintenance today was to fix the stick, if you will. But at least if I go to sell this as a used reel, I'll have a clean conscience that I wasn't passing along somebody else a problem there. And like I said, it was maddening to me. And I really don't like the reel, so why fish with something you don't like? The handle is another issue here. The handle in the Star, it's an aluminum handle. I've seen these come into my shop all bent up, and simply from hitting a pier rail. And if that isn't annoying, I'm not quite sure what is. All right, we had two Eclipse washers that I didn't show you when I took these out. These are not flat. They have a bend to them. That's why I call them an Eclipse. It's hard to see on this, but they do have a bend. They can be put face to face so that you have a gap. They can put opposite so that the gap is on the outside, or they can be nested, which is the way that these were. So we're going to go ahead and put them in. And the purpose of these is to give you varying levels of tension on your Star adjuster, so you can find the right amount of tension. And we can go ahead and put these screws in, and we'll give it a test here. And then I'll just tighten these down. But that's it. I mean, the design of the reel itself is pretty much the same design. It's been around a long time. These did change over to plastic parts, as we noted on the yoke and on the spool release mechanism there. And could just be that it's easier. Those parts accumulate the dirt and grease or something. I'm not sure what the real answer is there. You know, just slip that tension bearing. The reel's working fine. And now we're popped back the way we should be. We can see that it's where we saw it before, that it wasn't tripping fully. It's coming all the way back up here. One more part. There is an internal here. We could put a little oil in there and a little oil on the other side, and I flood it. Oil's not going to hurt anybody or anything, so go ahead and flood it. Alright, we're working the way we should be working now. Very good. Alright, so in a matter of a couple of minutes here, we were able to take this apart. We were able to show you the mechanics of the reel, and we were able to fix a problem that's been bothering me since the last time I took the reel out the other day trying to catch some bluefish. Alright, so we've just put the tension spring in behind the handle and on top of the Star Drag. Now we're going to go put the handle nut on. There's a hole in the pinion here. You can put oil in there. Go ahead and put a drop in and go get the nut cap. Line that nut cap up. And we're probably not totally aligned here. You have to play with this one a little bit, but you will get it to the point where that screw sits properly on the handle. Try to do that for the camera. That can get tightened. Decent enough. Fully throwing back. Okay, mission accomplished there. Alright, so that's your 5600 BCX Abu Garcia Ambassador. Alright, hope you've enjoyed. Hi, this is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle. We just completed that work on that 5600 BCX, and one of our video viewers noticed that towards the end of that repair, as I was tripping the lever, it wasn't coming back fully, and it appears, and not it appears, I was pushing it up at the end there, trying to take a look, because I know that when I was inside the reel we had solved the issue. and it appears that what was happening was there was something stuck in this channel here. That's kind of what I was looking at towards the end there. I think it may have been some steel wool that I may have even either used on the reel, or it just got caught there in the reassembly. But at any rate, I went back and checked, and I just wanted to point out to all that the steps that I took were the right steps to clear it, but somehow that there was a problem that showed up on the video towards the end there. At any rate, this is operating the way it should, and as I mentioned, I can't wait to get rid of this reel. I just don't like this reel, but not for those reasons. So thanks to all of you that are observant. Thanks to all of you that write the comments. Thanks to all of you that ask the questions. I want to let you know that I appreciate that. I appreciate you watching, and stay tuned. There'll be more to come. So thanks again. This is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle. Thank you for viewing.